Welcome to folk-fingerstyle. In this lesson we're going to learn a pattern that can be applied to any chord progression to really add some folk flavor. So this pattern is also a great stepping stone to Travis picking, which is probably the most complex but also most common fingerstyle method. So before we get into the pattern, we're going to add a new finger, the annular, which is your ring finger. So now we have the pulgar, which plays the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings. Your indice, which plays 3rd string, media, which plays 2nd string, and annular, which plays 1st string. So first thing, try picking all 6 strings with the correct finger, like this. The first step to learning this pattern is learning the bass notes. The bass notes are always played with your pulgar, and they're almost always played on the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings. There are particular bass notes for each chord you play. We're going to learn the bass notes for A, D, and E chords. So let's start with an A chord. Make an A chord with your left hand, and for A chord we play the 5th and 6th strings. For D chord, make a D chord with your left hand. You're going to play the 4th and 5th strings. And for E chord, you're going to play the 6th, then 5th string. So try playing common chord progression A, D, A, E, playing just the bass notes for each. First listen, then you try. Okay, so let's learn this pattern. So we're going to learn it in 2 parts. So the first part, you're going to take that bass line that you just learned. Let's go with A chord. And in between those bass notes, we're going to put indice and media. So the pattern is P, I, P, M. But remember, your pulgar is moving from 5th to 6th string. So first time it's 5, second time it's 6. Again, watch. P, I, P. Give that a shot. And the second part to this pattern is P, A, P, M. So that's pulgar, annular, pulgar, media. And same thing, you're still alternating your bass notes, so 5 and then 6. Watch. So again, P, A, P, M, but alternating bass notes. Okay, so let's try to put those 2 patterns together. So in terms of strings, the pattern would be 5, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, 6, 2, like this. And in terms of fingers, it's P, I, P, M, P, A, P, N. Once again. Now let's apply the same pattern we learned for A to the D and E chords. Now remember, the pattern's the same, but your bass line changes. So D chord is the 4th and 5th, and E chord is the 6th and 5th. Now, this one is just a little bit tricky. It takes some muscle memory, so it's okay to practice this lesson a few times. Listen once, then you try. Okay, so now that you've learned the 3 chords, their bass lines, and the finger pattern, we can play a common progression. This progression is A, D, A, E. So also, these chords are all part of the key of A. So if you're ever playing with other people and they say we're in the key of A, you can bet you'll be using these chords and maybe even this progression. So listen once to how it sounds, then you try. Good job on the last progression. Let's take two more chords you already know and learn the bass lines so that we can apply this same right hand pattern. Let's take G chord. So for G chord, the bass line is 6, 4, 6, 4. So if we take the same pattern, everything's the same except our new 6/4 bass line. It sounds like this. Okay, the last chord we should learn would be C. You already know C. But we have to change one thing about C. We're going to keep this note, 3rd fret on 5th string, but we're going to play it instead with your pinky finger. Then you're going to take your 3rd finger, ring finger, and you're going to put it 3rd fret on 6th string. This is still a C chord, but it's a C chord we use so that we can get the right bass line. The bass line is 5, 6, 5, 6. So with your new left hand C chord and the 5/6 bass line and our pattern, it sounds like this. Congratulations, you made it all the way to the end of this module. The last thing we're going to do here is play a chord progression. G, C, G, D. Now, just remember those bass lines and that new C shape, and you should be good to go. So bass line for G was 6, 4. Bass line for C was 5, 6. And bass line for D was 4, 5. Okay, listen once, then you try.